Oh, look, guys, yeah, we're almost there, but I just wanted to call you again and thank you. Like, I totally needed this break. This is gonna be so awesome. So looking forward to this camp. Yeah, this is great. Like, you guys are awesome to do this for me. I really appreciate it. Well, yeah, looks like we're about there. Yep, I will have fun. Thank you. Thanks again, man. All right, I'll see ya. Oh, this is gonna be great. What the fuck? Ian?
Chris.
Tonight we watched a movie called Camp Death 3 in 2D. This was sent to us by the director and one of the writers of the movie, Matt Frame.
One of the many.
So we watched Camp Death 3 in 2D.
Sure did.
Which is playing off of Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D.
Right. At least the title.
At least the title. So, what is Camp Death 3 in 2D about?
Camp Death 3 in 2D is a camp, bunch of kids, counselors getting slaughtered by a killer, much like you find in some of the Friday the 13th movies. Notably, not particularly Friday the 13th Part 3. That was not the setup for that movie exactly. But I think this was a spoof on the title more than it was a spoof on the actual story of that movie. Like, if you were to ask somebody, especially like if they hadn't seen Friday the 13th Part 3 in many years, or like even like couldn't keep track of which one was which, this movie might be what you like try and summed it up as.
Gotcha.
But like that's really not what that movie was. Yeah, I don't think calling this a parody of that specifically is overly correct, but it's fine.
It's fine.
It's a camp, it's counselors.
Yeah.
You get the point.
Yeah. So
it doesn't need to be.
So what'd you think?
So before we give our opinion, I should mention that the description for this movie on the streaming platform that the screener was sent to us on had a description.
Oh, really?
And it said, profoundly stupid comedy horror parody of Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D. Their words, not ours.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're the ones that call this profoundly stupid. And I agree. So what really impressed me about this is a super low budget movie. I think you said $35,000. I'm not sure if that's in American dollars or Canadian. This movie looked great for that. And I will say this movie definitely felt like a perfectly executed vision. This movie was exactly what it was intended to be. Mm-hmm. For that kind of dollar amount, you don't usually get that. You find in movies with a lot of compromises. They don't necessarily get to do the things they wanted to do.
I mean, but this movie, in general, the compromises it made didn't matter because the jokes and everything didn't need to have that production quality of a...
It's not like they had to resort to using black and white film because they couldn't afford the color film. They didn't have to like skip out on a whole great action sequence because they couldn't afford to do it. And you get certain movies that like they had to change everything and compromise, and they just put out something that was terrible because they couldn't get it done. They had a vision, they executed it. I just didn't love the vision.
Well, I'll just say this. I really did not enjoy this movie. But
can I quote the text you sent me? You described this movie as, quote, next level hard to watch.
Okay, but let me clarify, because I don't want to offend anyone here or anything. I want to give this movie a diplomatic chance and everything like that. Mm-hmm. I just don't think I'm the audience for this movie. I think this movie would be perfect for a 13-year-old boy. This is, like, crass, base-level humor, fart jokes out at the wazoo, everything. Everybody is so obscenely... Everything is so crass. Everybody's so obscene in the way they talk. It's just the humor doesn't work for me at all. But if this humor worked for you, this movie would be great. Because because like you said, with them executing on their vision, they went for it. Everybody went for it. The actors were all, they put up their best. They didn't skimp on any of their jokes. Like
the lighting was good, the action was good, the sound quality was good, the music was passable.
They went to the effort of really developing their jokes. They like put a lot of effects work in and everything like that to get their jokes the way they wanted to. Mm-hmm. The problem is I hated every single joke in the movie.
Yeah, everything about this movie was good except the most important part. Is one way to put this. Yeah, the humor. I guess before we get into the humor, I want to say that like. They had a very specific style to this movie that they sped up a lot of the acting. it gave it a very frenetic pace. It was very intentional, very on purpose. It wasn't just a hallmark of a badly made thing. I think it was kind of... It's very overacted in that
it's like a cartoon
pace too. Exactly, that's what I was building up towards. It felt like an animated thing. I would believe this whole movie worked 5 times better if you animated it to me. It would have also been more expensive, actually. But
yeah.
So a lot of the comedy was very physical in a very corny way, in a very silly way, and I didn't do it for me. And like, if that's either gonna do it for you or you're out hard on this.
Well, that's
film.
what I'm saying.
Especially because like the jokes, like the written jokes, to me were bad. Like not just bad, like bordering on offensive. Because they bring together, haven't mentioned to date that these are all mentally handicapped or maybe physically handicapped camp goers, which is fine. You can tell a story with characters like that, but the jokes seem to be, boy, aren't they wacky and zany because they're retarded. It's like, it doesn't work for me. Like,
I mean, but I wasn't. Yeah.
So you can tell a great story with mentally handicapped or physically handicapped characters where, like, they're those types of characters, but they're telling jokes. They can even make fun of each other a little bit in a way that's deprecating.
So you were offended?
I was bordering on it.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Because, like, they seem to just be silly because, boy, people with handicaps, that's funny, right? Like, that was the extent of the joke.
Can I interrupt?
Sure.
It'd be one thing if they only made fun of the handicapped people, but there isn't one likable character in this movie, or one character that is serious. You have no one to latch onto. Everybody is a ridiculous caricature of a person.
Weekends are a good time to journey to Camp Crystal Meth, unless the weekend begins with Friday, the 13th, because 13 is an unlucky number, especially when that's the number of voices in your head. Luck has run out for these 10 mental outpatients, as they've been prescribed 2 heaping spoonfuls of death, because these are Johann's woods, and he'll run you right out of them. Count to 3 in 2D.
There's movies similar to this, I would say. Probably, I can't think of anything on the top of my head, but usually you have at least one character you can relate to in like a comical world. But there wasn't like one realistic character.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I didn't find these jokes to be rather offensive, but I did find them to be very obnoxious and cringy. To me, looking at this movie, it is a consistent vision with consistent humor in a certain style that is just not what I'm interested in. But if I was 12, 13 years old boy, I would think maybe this would appeal to them.
Maybe.
Like a more immature. I feel like it's just for a more immature audience. And I'm not very mature. Like, I'm fucking not very mature. But still, this kind of humor didn't work for me. So I don't know. That's what I'm saying. If it wavered all over the place between, oh, that joke's actually funny and I'm really laughing, to like, oh my god, this is so bad, then it would be more offensive to me in a way. You can get the idea. You watch 10 minutes of the movie, you'll realize whether you'll like this or not, and you don't need to watch the rest. Production qualities, though, like we said, they're pretty good. There's some effects work that, while it looks silly, the whole movie's silly, so it works. Yeah. All the audio seemed to be like overdubbed.
Yeah, well, they had to because of the way they sped up the film.
Which still was fine, I guess.
They were probably speeding it up at least 1.5 times.
You think they sped up everything?
Like, especially the main male camp counselor. I don't think they did everything. Yeah. But at least some things they were... Because if they were to speed up the way he talked, it would come out chipmunky. Yeah. So they must have, done the ADR thing. I don't know if they did it across the board, though. Because there were definitely times when it felt like normal speed, and it didn't seem ADR. Yeah. They did a really good job of keeping it consistent. Like, sometimes when movies do that, where they have a mix of ADR and non-ADR, like, it feels real choppy and like...
Yeah, no. But it didn't feel noticeable. It all felt even.
Audio work was great. The camera work was great. The lighting was always good. They had good equipment.
I will say, it doesn't really... It's not what I want in a parody horror movie, because it doesn't really feel like a horror movie at all, or playing with that at all.
No. It was set in a horror universe, but it didn't feel like it was specifically parodying events in horror movies. Yeah. It was just kind of a comedy thing set in a horror setup. Yeah.
So I did notice that this movie had 19 writing credits.
Well, it's a lot of the actors.
So does that just mean it's all improv? Or like...
I'm guessing it was largely improv, and or like, I wouldn't be surprised, I don't know this, I couldn't find the information, if it's like an improv troupe that wanted to make a movie or something like that, or a comedy group of some kind.
Yeah. All right. So Ian, would you recommend this movie?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Fuck your world, Chris.
Yeah.
No, this movie doesn't really have any redeeming qualities for me.
Doesn't work for you. Yeah.
Comedy doesn't work. The story's lackluster. It escalates pretty aggressively well towards the end. That if I was on board with the movie, like the silliness of the ending would have worked, but because I was already not caring, it just didn't do much more for me.
I would say if you watch the first 5 minutes and you laugh, then this movie might be for you. But if you're like cringing, that's definitely not for you. That's what I'm saying. Like,
check out the trailer.
They went for something and they accomplished what they went for. It just wasn't for me, and I did not enjoy it. But I do appreciate you sending it to us.
I didn't send it to you.
Well, whatever. But yeah, that's gonna do it for Camp Death Part 3 in 2D.
If you liked it, get down in the comments. Let us know why. We're open to hearing other arguments. It just didn't work for us.
Yep. Anyways, we will catch you next time here on Bad Movie Night. Fuck, I was that close to having a good ending, wasn't I?
So close.
So close. Damn it.